This is the Experience Pros Radio Show. Got an opinion or want to ask us a question? Email radio@experiencepros.com or message us on the Experience Pros Facebook page, and we'll interact with you live on the show.
Welcome back. Do you have a manufacturing or logistics business? If you do, our next guest says that it's rare that business closes in one meeting. He says there's proposals to prepare, research to be done. You've got to determine frequency and size of deliverables, drawing samples, purchase orders. All of this has to happen. So in their book, Selling in Manufacturing and Logistics, our guest, Mike Jones, and his co-author, Ken Guest, they cover the 12 key strategies for managers and salespeople who work in these specialized industries. The book is Selling in Manufacturing and Logistics. Mike Jones, welcome to the Experience Pros Radio Show.
Thanks for having me, Angel.
Thanks for being here today, and thanks for putting this book together. Give me a little background. How did this book come to be?
Just through our experience in dealing with a lot of the manufacturing companies and logistics companies in Ohio, we started to see a trend. And as most salespeople and probably most of the managers know, there almost seems to be a paradigm that salespeople feel that they have to follow. And in this particular industry, it's heavily relationship driven. And I'm not trying to downplay the effectiveness of good relationships, but I think it goes much, much, much further than that. And in order to take our game to the next level, I think we have to increase our skill set. So that's really what gave us the idea to why don't we put some of this stuff down in paper and kind of share what we've learned over the years.
You know, Mike, I don't know that you're all that unique in manufacturing and logistics, that it is now all about relationships. These days, we can go online and do so much. There's always going to be somebody cheaper. There's going to be some app. It really is the relationships that sets us apart, that keeps our businesses going. You know, retention, loyalty, bringing in new clients. And you guys in the book, you address that communication problems arise over salespeople maybe over promising or not matching up with other departments. How do you address that?
Well, I think it starts early in the relationship and when people first meet. And I know the big buzzword in the sales industry is we have to go in and bond and build rapport, but I think it has to go beyond that. I think listening to people is not as effective as it used to be. I think we need to connect with people. And I think in order to truly connect with somebody, we have to be a little bit selfless and put them before our own needs.
Okay, so what are some things we can do? Because, I mean, if we're listening and we're having a communication or we're talking, what's different between listening and connecting?
Well, I think in order to connect with somebody, and especially in the world of selling, buyers don't have a positive mindset when it comes to salespeople. They have a defense wall up, and rightly so, because of maybe ways that they've been treated in the past. So I think to just kind of get the notion out there that no might be an answer today. And my main purpose for being here is to be a resource and to give. And I think the more salespeople look at it as let's try to give things rather than try to get things, it gets people to lower that defense wall so true conversation can happen.
I agree. But I think when business is booming, right, and there's abundance of clients that we're taking care of, I think it's easier for us to feel like, okay, we can be in that giving nature and really, figure out our clients' emotional triggers. When it goes bad, when we're desperate and we've got deadlines and we've got our boss breathing down our neck because, we've got quotas and different things to do. I think then all that relationship stuff goes out the window and we're just like, I got to get this deal. Do you find that?
We find that an awful lot. And there's a common saying that we tell our clients that our level of gullibleness on a sales call is directly related to the size of our pipeline. And I think when salespeople start to get wins and they start to get victories, it's a natural tendency for us, because we are creatures of comfort, to go to what's comfortable. And for salespeople to go to what's comfortable is to stop prospecting. And when they stop prospecting, they might not find themselves in trouble next week, but in 2 or 3 months, they're going to find themselves in trouble. So to continually do the correct behaviors, the right amount of behaviors in front of the right types of prospective clients, regardless of how many wins a salesperson has. And to have that consistent path really keeps them out of that trap.
We're talking with author and sales expert Mike Jones. He and Ken Guest wrote the book, Selling in Manufacturing and Logistics, the 12 Key Strategies for Managers and Sales People. You actually say that we can make the prospecting process easier and cut out cold calling. How?
Well, I think that with today's technology, we can get to people from a warm aspect that maybe we couldn't in the past. And I know cold calling was big in the past, and just smiling and dialing, people call it. I think that's hard work. I think with the amount of technology that we have, I think we can work much smarter. And I know when we have our sales meetings, one of the rules that I tell our team is we shouldn't be calling on prospects that we do not have some direct line to a decision maker. It's too hard, and I think with the abundance of knowledge that we have today, there really should be no reason to be doing that. That's just hard work.
And that is a lot of hard work, right? And they're spending a lot of time, like you said, smiling and dialing. There's all sorts of phrases for it because it was a numbers game. And these days it is all about connecting and building relationships. And you actually help in your book, you actually talk about the 5 levels of emotion that motivate people to buy. Where does that start? Because you actually say there's some weak emotions, and then there are some strong emotions that get people to buy. Give me the spectrum.
Well, I think in order to buy, let's look at the buyer first. There has to be some emotional trigger. A lot of people think that people buy because they have a need, and that's just not the case. I mean, I could say to all of us, write down 3 things that you need within the next 3 months, and we could all make a list. And if people bought based on a need, we wouldn't be able to make that list because we'd go out and buy it.
Right.
Something's happening that is emotional that flips a switch in people that causes them to go buy. And I think we need to understand what that emotional trigger is for people. And sometimes it's really severe, like my hot water tank broke in my basement and I have to go get one. And sometimes I'm just interested in something. And I think that there's a whole spectrum in between those two that salespeople need to understand through connection and communication, what level the buyer's at, so they can help guide them and be the right resource for them.
Mike Jones, this is great. I know our audience is going to want to stay connected with you no matter what industry you're in. There's good stuff in here, great principles that we can all attach ourselves to. The book is called Selling in Manufacturing and Logistics. Mike, how do you want our audience to stay connected with you and get a copy of the book?
Well, they can email me at mjones@sandler.com, or they could go to Sandler's website at sandler.com and they can find the book there. And certainly we are also on Amazon.com, so either of those would work.
I should have known you were a Sandler trainer, right? Yeah, this is great stuff. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Angel.
Absolutely. That was, right? Doesn't matter what industry you're in, we've got to take care of the people, take care of the relationships. We are creating a revolution in how people treat people in a business and empowering you to build your brand on the radio. Check us out at massivemediaexposure.com.
America's home for positive business talk. You're listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Contact them on the web